On this episode...
Is it getting bigger?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness me. I've never seen anything this big or nasty looking around a cat's tail in particular.
There is the potential that we could lose that tail.
Oh my God, Jasper, look at that eye.
Yeah, I mean, it's really horrific.
I'm just thinking, my God, that must be painful.
But first...
Oh my gosh, what is this?
This lump really is quite shocking.
I'm sure you won't mind missing that. I might just need a towel on the floor, Joe, because there's fountains everywhere.
I was expecting a decent amount of blood, but there's some real spurters there. It's like fountains of blood.
For it to get this big, it had to have a big blood supply. That was not a surprise. Yeah, it is quite a bloody surgery. Now, I'm gonna cut the top.
At Scott's London practice, Leslie has arrived, worried about foster dog Chalky.
Yes.
Leslie is a volunteer with Dogs on the Street, and as soon as Chalky arrived at the sanctuary, she noticed he needed urgent medical attention.
Hi, Leslie.
Hello.
Hi, you must be Chalky. Hello, handsome boy. How you doing?
But this handsome boy is carrying around a big problem.
Oh my gosh, what is this?
Chalky has a large growth on the side of his body.
What is that, buddy?
Wow, he has a whopping great mass on his sides that are hanging down. He's a white dog, but he looks a little bit like a cow with some udders full of milk.
That is absolutely massive.
It is. Never seen anything like it.
Oh my gosh. All right, well, should we get you into the consult room and have a better look? Okay. Yeah? Come on in, handsome boy. Come on in, come this way. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. Come this way.
In Chalky's case, his dad was offered some temporary accommodation, but unfortunately, it didn't allow for pets. So sadly, Chalky couldn't go along with his dad. Thank goodness Dot Sanctuary was there to take him in.
Hey, yes. Oh, you're such a nice boy. It just shows he's such a loved dog.
He is. He's clearly very, very well cared for.
Yeah. For many of the vulnerable people that Dot's looks after, they've got far bigger challenges. So
Absolutely.
if Chalky is happy and healthy and he's eating well, he's like, oh, well, it's just a lump, it's nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
But it's great that he's come to you guys, because that's a whopper.
It obviously does need to be looked at, because I've never seen anything like that before.
So how long do we think it's been there for? Do we have any idea?
I really don't know. He's been with us for a couple of weeks now, and he came in like that, so
Right.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm assuming a long time, because it's huge. And I'm hoping it's nothing too serious.
Here we go. So if you want just holding his head for me, that's it. Let's just have a really good feel of this. Very warm, obviously very vascular. I'm sure you won't mind missing that, will you? Huh? So we can focus on the handsome bit and not the less handsome.
He is very handsome.
You are a handsome boy, aren't you? Yeah.
This lump really is quite shocking. This mass has grown absolutely massive. It's very vascular, it's very heavy, and it will be causing some discomfort as it stretches some of his abdominal muscles away from his body.
Thankfully, I can get my fingers underneath. It is attached to musculature, otherwise it'd be on the floor. So it is attached, so we'll have to cut through a little bit of muscle to get rid of it. But I know that I'll be able to get good margin here, so even if this is something that's of concern, I'll be hopeful that we'll be able to give him cure by performing surgery.
There's two reasons really why we should be removing Chalky's tumour. First of all, it is massive and unpleasant and will be causing some discomfort. But there's also the chance that when a tumour grows to a certain size or grows quickly, it could be a sign of cancer. How do you feel? I mean, I think it is the right thing to remove this lump. But I do think that we should send off this mass, and hopefully it's not more bad news for this gentleman, and instead it'll be a clear bill of health. So weight off daddy's mind and a weight off your body. Hey, yes, yes. Does that sound good?
It will be very interesting to find out, whether it's just benign, whether there's a little bit more to it. Fingers crossed it's nothing more, but he's in the best place. He really is.
Do you want to give him a little kiss, good boy? Hey?
Kiss him, Good boy. Mwah. I know. You're going to be a good boy.
Come on, Jazz. Let's get you to the vets.
In southwest London, Sarah is on her way to see vet on the hill newcomer Michael with a tiny patient he's come to know well in recent months.
I've got Sarah coming in today with her guinea pig Jasper, who has what we think is an infection behind the eye, which is actually pushing the eye out of the socket.
It's gonna be okay. Good boy. Well done, little man. We woke up suddenly overnight to see that his eye was just looking really, really bad, just awful. It was a dramatic, shocking change.
Hi Sarah, how are you doing?
Hey, Michael. I think we really need to get him in and see what we're doing about this eye.
Yes, the eye's not doing well then.
No, it's looking really horrific.
Oh, Jasper. Right, let's have a look. Come on through.
Thank you. We got Jasper as a rescue guinea pig, abandoned out of his litter because he'd been bullied and picked on by all the other guinea pigs, and we just took him home, and he's been part of the family ever since. He sits out on the sofa with us in the evening looking at things on the TV, and he's just fun. He's been part of treasure hunts, he's gone on holiday with us, and you know, he's just this amazing part of the family. Oh, Jasper.
Oh my God, Jasper, look at that eye.
Yeah, I mean, it's really horrific. I had to explain to the kids, they didn't just look at him and freak out, and we sort of call it his zombie eye.
I mean, I
And I
can
presume
even
this is some of the gum.
see that.
Oh, you can touch it.
I can even touch it. He's not responding.
No, nothing.
All the nerve endings, everything is just completely cut off. Yeah. I'm a bit shocked. I just see this big, hard, dry eye sticking out the socket, and I'm just thinking, my God, that must be painful. That's not good. The most likely cause of this eye being pushed out is something called a retrobulbar abscess.
Right.
And this is when infection develops behind the eye.
Oh,
It
Jazzy.
forms a pussy abscess, and that pushes the eye out the socket.
Oh, my dude.
The difficult thing is that it rarely responds to antibiotics. We can operate. It means taking out the eye. Obviously he can manage. You know, I have a one-eyed cat, Otto, who you see over there, and he is perfectly fine with one eye. So I think his quality of life will be much better without the eye.
But Sarah is concerned about surgery. Just 2 months earlier, Michael operated on Jasper's teeth. She's worried another general anaesthetic might be too much for the 5-year-old guinea pig.
Oh, Jasper. It's all right. We're going to make it better, mate. Okay? Good boy. Over the last few weeks, I've been spending quite a bit of time talking to the kids about Jasper and how he's gone downhill quite a lot. They know that Jasper might not get through today, but we don't want to give up on him just yet.
So I think the best thing that we can do today, just to see how serious it is to take an X-ray of his skull. Hopefully, if everything goes well with the anaesthetic, the enucleation, then he'll be a much happier guinea pig. I'm about 90% confident that what we're dealing with Jasper is a retrobulbar abscess, but until we take that X-ray, we can't actually confirm what we're dealing with. It could be something like a cancerous mass. You don't really know.
Right, Jazzy, you'd be super good, okay? We'll see you later. You got through the general for your teeth, so you can get through the general for this, okay? I told you he loves this basil, and you'll be back in the garden before you know it. And be good, okay? We'll see you in a little bit. Good boy.
Okay, buddy. Right, we'll see you later. Come on, boy. There we go.
So this is Chalky. Very, very handsome Chalky until you get round to this side.
Yeah. So what is that?
Yet to find out. It's a very, very heavy lump, isn't it, buddy? That's got to go.
At Scott's London clinic, Scott and vet nurse Jo are about to begin surgery to remove a massive lump from foster dog Chalky.
All right, so have we got a little muzzle that we can put on our champion?
Because Chalky is a little bit nervous, a bit anxious, we just need to change the way that we work to suit him.
Good boy. Oh my goodness.
If you don't remove tumours like this, they can have the tendency to spread, particularly when they get large. They can spread to other parts of the body, and of course they can be fatal.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm hoping it's not going to be anything serious, but you just can never tell. And clearly something that's grown this big has got a good amount of blood supply, so I just hope it's not more bad news for your daddy, eh? The size of that blood vessel there. Straight down into mass.
Getting Chalky prepared for surgery, the one thing is very obvious, there are some huge blood vessels supplying this tumour. It's very vascular, and unfortunately this surgery is going to be very bloody. All right, Joe, you happy? Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I have a feeling this is going to be very satisfying.
I know, yeah, I agree.
You know?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Everyone wants the weight off their shoulders or side, as the case may be here.
Scott will be using an electrocautery machine to stem the bleeding as he cuts.
The absolute whopping blood vessels. Using electrocautery means that electrical impulses then help to clot blood and stop blood vessels from pumping out more blood. So it's a great way to be able to cut and cauterize it at the same time.
I might just need a towel on the floor, Joe, because there's fountains everywhere.
I was expecting a decent amount of blood, but when I first cut through the skin with the electrocautery machine, there's some real spurters there. It's like fountains of blood. So you have to react quickly. You can't get intimidated by all the blood, but there is a decent volume coming out.
Yeah, so for it to get this big, it had to have a big blood supply. That was not a surprise. But you know, yeah, it is quite a bloody surgery, just simply because you have to find each blood vessel and isolate it, and that's not always possible. So I'm gonna have to cut first and then stem the tide later.
Being that there's a lot of bleeding associated with this very large tumour, I really need to work extra quickly to get it out, to then be able to see all the blood vessels that need tying off and cauterizing.
Basically cut the underside to be able to expose all these blood vessels and then ligate them, and now I'm going to cut the top. So yes, I think that'll fit. Yep.
So I think the best thing that we can do today, just to see how serious it is to take an X-ray of his skull.
In southwest London, Michael needs to anaesthetise Guinea Pig Jasper so he can X-ray him and assess the severity of his dysfunctional left eye.
Quick pinch. So with guinea pigs, anaesthetics are always a risk. They're just a lot more delicate. So sometimes the drugs that we use can just hit them a bit hard. So during the actual procedure, there's always the risk that they might just pass away. I think he's sleepy enough now, so let's take him through and get that X-ray. He's completely zonked. Hey, let's go. There we go, good boy. Okay, let's get this X-ray. There we go. This isn't good. Jasper has really bad dental disease. These molars here, which are in the skull, are meant to be nice and straight in his case because they weren't growing properly. This tooth here, this root, is right beneath where his eye socket is. And that's why we've now got this infection, this retrobulbar abscess, which is pushing the eye out of its socket.
With his diagnosis confirmed, Michael and Nurse Lucy proceed with surgery to remove the dangerously infected eye.
So what I'm going to do is try and get the eye out without rupturing it. So that's a very delicate process, and I have to be quite careful and slow, making sure that I don't rupture any big vessels. If I do rupture a big vessel, there'll be a lot of bleeding, and it's very difficult to actually stop that. It is so gory and gruesome. You know, you're literally cutting out an eye from the socket. There's blood, there's going to be pus, and in a guinea pig Jasper's size, I can't afford to lose any blood. That can be a death sentence. You happy with how everything's going? Mm-hmm. Yeah, good.
Nice and stable.
That's the best we can wish for. If the drugs are too strong, then basically that can affect the heart, and if the heart rate's too low, that can be life-threatening for them. Doing an anesthetic on any small animal, my stress levels go through the roof.
If it does look like there's a possibility that he could wake up, that can increase his anaesthetic agent, or there's other drugs we can give. It's just important to make sure that we're monitoring them constantly from start to finish.
A lot can go wrong at this stage. It is a high-risk situation, and we can't assume that he will come out alive the other end. As you can see here, I've cut away all the tissue that's holding the eyeball in a socket. There's just a tiny bit left here, so I'm at the point of detaching the eye. Oh, there's a bit of pain there, so there's a nerve.
We should be fine actually. We've got local anaesthetic and we can always add in some other bits and bobs if needs be, but we should be all right.
In Yorkshire, Louisa is getting ready for her first patient of the day.
Come on, boss, let's go see about need to sort it out. So,
Stuart and his daughter Abby are bringing in a 17-year-old cat who means the world to their family.
indescribable. He's my life.
He means everything to us. I've had him my whole life and I don't remember a life without him really.
They're desperately hoping Louisa can fix a large lump growing on the tail of the much-loved domestic shorthair.
Hello. We're going to look at a lump, aren't we, on this tail? Come on, let's have a look. Come through. Buster is very handsome. He's an old gentleman, but I think he's a bit of a tough cookie as well because he doesn't really like being inside, likes to just be outside causing chaos. What has been going on?
Lump on his tail.
Oh my goodness me. I'm looking at this growth right now. I mean, I've never seen anything as unpleasant around particularly a cat's back end before, and it's quite big. Is it getting bigger?
Yes.
Right. Can we say that? What we'll do, I'm going to get you to hold Buster's head. Oh, sweetheart. So when we've got lumps of this size, the surgeries to kind of remove them aren't always as straightforward. The big lump is right next to his bottom, attached to the underbase of his tail, and it's quite thickened and quite firm around there. So because of where it is around the tail, there is the potential that we could lose that tail if it means that we get it off. We will try our hardest to save the tail.
I'll be honest, if we can get rid of that lump for him, it's all the better. It can't be very nice for him, poor thing.
As well as the lump being extremely uncomfortable for Buster, Louisa worries it could be cancerous.
We're going to try and remove it to improve his quality of life, but we need to find out what that lump is. So we will send the parts of the lump off to a lab, and fingers crossed it's nothing sinister, and we can hopefully all sleep a bit more easy. I'm really pleased that Buster's dad's given us the go-ahead. All he wants is Buster to be pain-free and be home. He wants to do everything that he can do, and I think that's really lovely. But I'm a little bit worried that it's something nasty. I'm a little bit worried that we might not be able to take it off. So I think we go for it, and we'll get him home for you at tea time.
All right. I just hope he comes through it. I really, really do. So I'm a bit worried that, you know, it's, I don't know, he'll be all right. I think he'll be all right. He'll come through it. I'm sure he'll come through it. He's always been fighting.
I've cut the underside to be able to expose all these blood vessels and then ligate them, and now I'm going to cut the top. So yes, I think that'll fit, yep.
At Scott's London practice, it's the moment of truth for Chalky.
You ready?
Scott is finally about to remove a massive tumour on the side of the foster dog's body.
It's like a fountain at Caesar's Palace. Oh my gosh. There we go. Removing a mass of this size is always going to throw up some challenges, with the main one being the size of the wound that's left once you've taken it away. And the big thing you need to remember is to always check that you can actually close the wound that you've created. Right, there we go, ready. So at the moment it looks like a huge gaping hole, and it is. But the mass itself, by hanging off Chalky's body for so long, has actually stretched the skin, so there's quite a lot of extra to go around and close this deficit. Closure time.
It's been a messy, challenging surgery, but as Scott begins to close, he's feeling positive about Chalky's outcome.
I'm happy that the surgery has come with a big margin, so difference between healthy and not healthy tissue. There's a lot of space between those two things. So I'd be hopeful that even if this tumour does come back as something nasty, Chalky should hopefully be okay. The positive I can take out of it is that Chalky has very good blood pressure, so that's good. The amount of floor cleaning that Joe has to do, less good.
Definitely less good.
By the end of the closure, I'm actually really satisfied how this wound looks. I mean, to remember how big that tumour was and then how large the wound was left after I've removed it, now all he has is a lovely little smile on his side.
Looks nice.
Looks nice. He's got a waist again. Ready for the summer.
While Chalky wakes up in recovery,
Good boy, have a little snooze. And we'll call Leslie. Eh?
Scott will weigh the tumour and take a sample to send off for testing.
400 grams. So it's still a significant weight off this dog. Although I'm very satisfied that I've removed the mass entirely and given margins, which is kind of the separation between healthy tissue and unhealthy tissue, I feel in this case that by sending it off to the lab, we'll be very sure about exactly what the cause of this growth is, and let's hope it's not cancer, but even if it is, fingers crossed, by removing it the way I have, it will give full cure to him.
You're being such a good boy.
In Yorkshire, Louisa and Nurse Becca are getting 17-year-old Buster ready for surgery.
Becca will try and take his blood pressure. These are all checks to make sure he's as fit as he can be for his general anaesthetic, because he's an old boy.
If Buster gets the all clear, Louisa will operate to remove a possible cancerous lump from the aging cat's tail.
His heart rate's coming down as he's relaxing.
Yeah. Good. I think he's okay. He was weighed yesterday.
Weighed him yesterday.
Yeah, that's fine.
Good to go on a kennel?
Yep.
Right, come on then, pal. Pick your house for the day.
I love the golden oldies. We love senior pets. We love the geriatric ones. And I will say it till I'm blue in the face. Age is not a reason to not try and help a pet. He's a nice, sweet boy, and he's just falling asleep now. That's the allergy there.
The surgery will be especially difficult for Becca.
Because I'm allergic to cats. They make me sneeze and they make me itch.
She just has to take antihistamines.
Yeah. But I still like them anyway.
Luckily, Becca has a very, very good sense of humour, because we think it's quite funny. She's a veterinary nurse and she often handles cats. So she will often be sneezing and sniffling, and she just takes some extra antihistamines beforehand and we can just take the mickey out of her.
Yeah.
But as the team clips the area around the lump, the mood becomes far more serious.
Yeah, just get rid of all of this. Oh my goodness. That's the worrying bit, how close it is to the rectum, as you can see. It's really close to the bottom and also attached to the tail. I'm a bit more concerned when it's all been shaved. I've never seen anything this big or nasty looking around a cat's tail in particular, so I'm a bit worried about what we're dealing with. It's not this bit that's bothering me, it's that bit. This bit. I think he's going to end up losing his tail.
Worried she won't be able to remove the dangerous growth without sacrificing the tail, Louisa asks fellow vet Alex for a second opinion.
It might peel away, I don't know.
I think you'll be fine because you're not anywhere near the actual sphincter there, so I think you could go right in there.
Because the lump could be malignant and threaten Buster's life, the decision is made to remove it.
So let's see what we can do. We'll put some local anaesthetic in and we'll get him into theatre and we'll try and get this off. And if we think that we can't close it, that's when we might have to sacrifice the tail.
The fate of Buster's tail will have to wait until during the surgery.
Right, sweetheart. I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to get this off whilst trying to save his tail. We can only try. I'm just wondering whether that approach is better. We've got to be really careful here.
Oh, there's a bit of pain there, so there's a nerve. Do you want to pop another drop of Marcaine in there?
Mm-hmm.
So this is just some local anaesthetic to make sure that Jasper really can't feel anything.
In southwest London, Michael is about to take out the damaged left eye of 5-year-old guinea pig Jasper.
And I just have to make sure I'm happy I know what I'm cutting, and that's all just more connective tissue. And there we go. That is the diseased eye. And all this white stuff in the socket is a lot of pus and infected tissue. I was kind of expecting to see this amount of pus, because when you saw how far Jasper's eye was being pushed out the socket, you've got to think, right, something's going to be beneath this eye that's doing that. So what I have to do is try and scoop out as much as I can. So you see that there, that's just pus. get rid of all of this. Because one of the complications of this type of surgery is if I don't remove all that infected tissue, when I close up the eye socket later on, that can just create more of an infection. There is a lot of infected tissue. It's really thick, so you can't actually wipe it away. You have to remove it physically in these lumps. So I'm feeling quite relieved at the moment because finding this abscess basically confirms all of my suspicions and it justifies why we're doing this surgery. So we've made the right decision for Jasper, which is great. Ooh, some nice pus there. Whenever there is pus, vets and nurses get maybe overexcited. It's just one of those satisfying things that when you get to express it, you're just like, oh, that's disgusting, but you can't stop looking at it at the same time.
I'm the same. I like the disgusting things. Yeah, I'm not a very squeamish person.
So I'm just going to try and flush out as much as I can with this saline. Yeah, that's looking good.
Jasper's eye socket is now free of infection.
Okay, so we're going to start closing up the eyelid now. Everything so far has been, pretty good. I'm very relieved. However, we're still not out the woods. Underneath the facade, I am quite worried. It is a race against time because the longer that Jasper is under anesthetic, the higher the risk of death. As much as I need to be careful about what I'm doing, I also need to be quite fast-paced and try and get this done so that we can wake him up. I think if Jasper pulls through, I will personally go to the shops and buy a big bag of his favorite food, which is basil.
Right, Becca, the games begin.
In Northern England, Louisa has begun surgery on Buster the cat to remove a menacing lump that could be life-threatening.
I suspect this is a nasty lump.
There's some big nerves and vessels under there, which
they do tend to bleed. It's just hard to see what's normal tissue and what's the tumour. It's all mixed in, and that's why it's hard to find the blood vessels. It's like a really bad traffic jam. When you've got these big tumours and it's attached to various different things, you can't see what's normal and what's not normal. So I'm quite delicate going around this tumour, trying to not hit blood vessels or to try and find the blood vessels. I can see a big blood vessel in there. Got to be really careful here. Just do it bit by bit, piece by piece.
Louisa must be careful to remove all of the potentially cancerous lump to give Buster the best chance of survival.
It's a balance of taking off enough skin to be able to get around the tumour, but not take too much skin that when it comes to trying to save the tail, I can't stitch it back and then we lose the tail. So it's a tricky balance. Getting a bit cold.
Yeah. Temperature's dropping. Blood pressure's a little bit low, Louisa. Our map's just over 60.
I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to get this off whilst Buster's under anaesthetic, but we definitely are not rushing this procedure at all. So I go into autopilot, concentrate, and just try and get the job done.
Do you want me to drop our ice or give a bit of a fluid ball?
Yeah, do that. I've just got to focus on what I'm doing, but it's really hard for me because I have a dog myself. So I'm focusing on Buster whilst thinking about Buster's worried parents at home. I just want to get him home. We're almost there. I'm sweating.
In London, Chalky is finally waking up after surgery to remove a massive lump from his abdomen. And Dot's foster carer Leslie has returned to pick him up, acutely aware of how much Chalky means to his loving owner.
When they're vulnerable and they're scared and they don't have anything, these dogs give them unconditional love and a reason to keep going. I have been told many times by different people, if it wasn't for this dog, I wouldn't be here now.
Hi.
Hello.
Here he is.
Hello, Angel.
Newly lightened.
Hello, sweetie pie.
Say hi.
Hi. Look at you. Are you feeling a bit more comfortable now?
reuniting Chalky with Leslie. It's beautiful to see. He's got that beautiful staffy smile. Leslie's smiling, I'm smiling. It's a real happy fest. And I'm really sure that this dog is going to heal beautifully and hopefully at some point get back to his loving owner. But he seems very happy now that's gone. There's a very vascular lump.
Yeah.
It took a lot of sort of managing all the bleeding, but once that was done, it came out relatively easily. It was attached to one layer of musculature, but I feel that the margin's very good, so I'm hopeful that even if the results of the lab come back as something quite concerning, I do still feel that we've got a curative result from the surgery. So.
It will be a week before Scott gets the results from the lab, but in the meantime, Chalky will be cared for at the Dogs on the Street sanctuary until his owner is ready to have him back.
I'm sure that his owner's going to be pretty happy and relieved.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll update him this afternoon, let him know that it all went well. I'll make sure that they're reunited as soon as possible. Thank you so much, Scott.
All the best.
Thank
nice to
you.
see you. You're very welcome. Bye, champion.
Come on then, baby.
See ya. The work that Dogs on the Streets or DOTS does is so valuable to so many people. The love and affection is really one of the only relationships in some of these people's lives. So to be able to keep that intact and support them with the things that they're going through, trying to get them back on their feet and then allowing them to be reunited with their animals, well, it really is a beautiful service and an amazing charity.
Blood pressure's a little bit low, Louisa. Our map's just over 60.
In Yorkshire, Louisa is racing against time to remove a likely cancerous lump from Buster, without sacrificing the elderly cat's tail in the process.
Blood pressure has immediately come back up. Good. I'll keep monitoring that, and if it stays up, I'll drop the fluids back down. Cool.
Thankfully, Buster's falling blood pressure has stabilised.
Right, we get into the really tricky bit now because we're getting to the bit where it is underneath and near the bottom. As I'm cutting into this tumour, it does look like more of a cancerous growth to me. It's really nasty, it's really stinky. The tumour is still attached to normal skin, so I'm trying to get this high up, but I'm really close.
As she gets close to removing the worrying growth, it becomes obvious the surgery has come not a moment too soon.
Right, we'll get this off now. Any bigger, we absolutely would not have been able to get this tumour off, so we're getting enough now before it's too late. So what we're going to do is just get this blood vessel. Hopefully, we cut it off. I'm quite pleased with that so far. It looks like it's all come off. As you can see, it's a big hard mass. I mean, it fits in the palm of my hand, which for a small cat's tail, that's quite significant. But now the tricky bit is whether we can save the tail by closing the wound, so I'll have a look now. It is quite a chunky hole. The saving grace is that I've hopefully been able to save quite a bit of skin around it to close it without the tail being under too much tension, because if it's as tight as like an elastic band, the tail skin will just die. It will just go black and die.
After initial fears he would have to live the rest of his life without a tail,
there's quite a lot of skin, so I'm feeling confident that we've saved this cat's tail.
Buster now looks like having a happy ending.
This is the best case scenario for Buster today. We've been able to take the lump off safely while saving his tail. I think the owners will be really pleased.
It's a great outcome, but it's been a difficult surgery. For many reasons.
It really smells, which does not add to the ambience in here. So not only was the view not very pleasant for me, because I'm looking at this cat's entire back end, but the smell, I would liken it to rotten flesh. Can you not smell it?
No.
For once, Becca's cat allergy does have its advantages.
This is because Becca's sinuses are all blocked from being allergic to the cat.
Honestly, can't smell that at all.
That's good.
Okay.
Doing my last stitch now. I'm so relieved because I can take a step back and I can take a breather. I hope that this is the end of this nasty mass, that it doesn't grow back. And this is the end of this cat being in pain, so I'm really pleased. Done.
There you go, mate. Your bumhole's looking better now.
Here we go, darling.
So I'm just doing the final knot of stitches.
In southwest London, Michael has finished the delicate eye removal surgery on Jasper the guinea pig.
Seems like everything's going well so far with the anaesthetic.
Yeah, everything's been really stable, really happy with the anaesthetic throughout the whole thing.
Brilliant.
So now we just have to wake him up.
Yeah.
Michael and nurse Lucy are ecstatic their little patient, against the odds, has made it safely through the operation.
I think I'm very happy with how things have gone at the moment. However, we have to hope that he wakes up quickly so that we can get him eating again before Sarah comes to pick him up. So we're still holding our breath.
For owner Sarah and her children, it's been an anxious day.
You just sort of worry how the little guy's getting on. Keep looking at your watch, keep thinking, how's he getting on? You know, is he going to get through this? We've been joking we're going to get him like a little eye patch. One-eyed bandit boy, maybe he'll new career as a pirate or something.
Hey, you feeling okay? Oh yeah, he's starting to move there, which is great. Right now I'm really happy because we can see signs of life. He's starting to move, you can see a bit of a twinkle in his eye, so he's back in the room basically. Look who it is! There's your mom.
Oh, Jazzy! Oh, matey!
Moments like this are what I live for as a vet. You know, giving a sick patient back to the owner and just seeing their reaction. It's such a satisfying moment. It's what really drives me to do this every day.
Oh, good boy.
And then just let him chew it. Okay. So you might have to continue syringe feeding him a bit more once he's home. But to make things a bit easier for you, I did get a nice big bunch of fresh basil, his favorite thing. So yeah, he can munch on that later on when he's a bit more awake from the anaesthetic. Okay. Yeah. Do you want to smell the basil? Okay.
Oh,
no.
He wants it.
Okay. You want to smell it? You can eat some of that later on, okay?
Not right now.
Jazzy, little man. The best case scenario I think we could have hoped for, and that like he's come through it all and it's a pretty massive operation. My daughter's going to be probably the happiest. It's her guinea pig. She's had him for 5 years now, and we'll get him home and get him eating his basil, and he'll be back out in the garden really soon.
Brilliant. Well, we'll see you soon then.
Yeah,
okay.
take care.
Right,
Thank you
take
so
care.
much, Michael. Come
Bye,
on,
Jasper.
dude. Let's get you home. Off we go. Well done, Jazzy. Well done.
Here we go, darling.
In Britain's north, Buster is recovering well from surgery to remove a suspected cancerous lump from his tail.
He's quite happy about being here.
Anxious to be reunited with the cat they adore are Stuart and his daughter Abby.
Just can't wait to get him back. Really can't. Just giving him a new piece of life and just hopefully getting back to how he was. Just letting him be himself again. There he is.
Here he is.
Hello, boo.
He says, don't judge my haircut, please.
Oh, he's a changed cat, isn't he? He's a bit baldy, he's a bit like me under this cap.
Honestly, he's been good as gold. He's so chatty. He's so chatty, and he ate straight away. I know, I told you.
I'm just so relieved to get a lump off him.
He's a little bit lighter. Want to show your dad your bum?
Oh, Bust.
It's so lovely to see Buster's dad over the moon, and Abby is really, really happy. So it's really rewarding to watch.
No, it's just utter relief. Absolutely fantastic. I can't thank Louisa enough, honestly, I just really can't. I'm just so pleased to have him back to himself, even if he's a bit bald.
Buster, do you want to see?
I can't believe how big it is. What was it?
I don't know yet. We could send it away to the lab and find out what it is. Yeah. So we'll just have to wait and see and hope that once the results come back, we're in the clear and he can go on and live the rest of his life in peace.
Come on, Bust. Thank you.
All right, come on, let's get you home, boo. Go make you comfy.
Two weeks after Scott removed a huge mass from the side of Chalky's body, the brave dog has been given the all clear and has made a full recovery. His foster carer is happy to report he's now back with his owner and getting plenty of TLC. And Louisa's elderly patient Buster is also back to full health after surgery to remove a nasty lump at the base of his tail. His doting owners are confident he'll now live to a ripe old age.
If you guys loved that video, great. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel below. That way.